Well, I thought the story of Afghanistan at that time was very important. Uh, there was an uprising, and there was different groups fighting against themselves, against the government, and it was really kind of a life and death struggle. Um, you had this small country, and then you had the Soviet Union, which is this huge country, kind of coming over, trying to take over. I thought it was a very important story. I thought it was one I wanted to document and experience. So I just it was exciting to sort of witness this historical kind of struggle in Afghanistan and to photograph it. So that was kind of the reason. It was more kind of motivated out of wanting to tell this story, wanting to experience, wanting to learn about this country, this culture, and so I probably was there for like a year or more.
How did you feel taking those photos, seeing these tragedies and those people that went through so much firsthand? How did it feel not being able to help them directly, if not taking photos and showing them to other people around the world?
Well, I thought it was important to tell their story. I thought it was important to be there. I thought it was, I thought the information about the war needed to be told to people, you know, needed to know what was happening. And I thought the best way to, I just thought, people need to know about it. The information needs to get out about the struggle. So that was kind of the motivation. And I thought that would, I thought it would benefit everybody to have that story told. The Afghans, the world community, and that was kind of the challenge of going to this dangerous place. I mean, it's always a risk, to a war zone. I think some people feel that it's important to go in and see and experience it and document what's happening. These people can't really have a voice. They can't really show what's happening to the world, but that's something I could. So I'm trying to tell their story because these are people that are sometimes, in remote places and are not possible to communicate with the outside world.
When you returned to Afghanistan years later to find Sharbat Gula again, how did the experience affect you?
Well, I thought it was important to try and find her, try and help her. We actually we found her. We tried to help her families. We bought her a house. We helped her financially. We helped her brother and her family with health care. So it was, I thought it'd be great to see if we could find where she was and see if we could help her in some way.
And when you first heard about the Taliban's return in Afghanistan, what was your first thought about it?
Well, I thought that, clearly the Taliban have a lot of support in Afghanistan, and despite all the effort from the international community to help the Afghan people, somehow sometimes there's mysteries in life we don't understand. Sometimes we can't understand what's happening. But the reality was that it was a kind of a struggle of wills. Who had the stronger will, whether it was the foreign, some Afghan people and some foreigners, the Americans, or the Taliban and their allies. And for whatever reason, the Taliban basically won because I guess they had more determination, more will. It's a fascinating story. You never imagine these kind of people could overcome a great, army like NATO and the American army, but they were able to win.
And are you planning to return there in Afghanistan one day?
I'll go back at some point, yes, when the time is right. I think it would be interesting to go back, absolutely go back and understand what's going on.
Can you tell us about one of the most unforgettable moments or people you've photographed?
Wow. Let's see. There's so many, it's hard to pick one. I photographed this boy in Afghanistan who was a fighter. He was a 12 years old boy with a big gun, and he was part of this militia group. And I photographed him about 30 years ago. 30 years ago, he was 12. And just by coincidence, I was able to locate that boy, and he was now a grown man of 30 or whatever, 35, 40. And we've been in touch with him, and we've become sort of friends. But it was at that time, and he was arrested later, put in jail. His family thought he was dead, and then he was able to escape. And then we were kind of reunited. And I've been helping him and his family. So it's a great story, I think. But I meet many people that in my travels. Sometimes it's hard to stay connected because sometimes it's hard to, in the past, there wasn't an address or an email. But I try and keep in touch with some people.
How has your approach to photography changed over the years, like especially with new technologies and social medias?
Well, my approach, I use different equipment now. The cameras are better, they're more sophisticated, they're changed, but the kind of the practice of photography is pretty much the same. Observation, looking for the right situation, for the right story, trying to frame the picture, trying to meet people, trying to find people that have a great story to tell. So a lot of it's about wandering and observation and patience and persistence. There are a lot of these things which are very important, especially patience is a very, and practice, persistence is an important ingredient in, I think, any profession, but particularly photography. And also, it's something which I've really have a great passion for photography. So for me, it's joy and it's pleasure, and it's a great sort of artistic satisfaction to be able to create pictures and travel and experience this amazing planet that we live on.
What keeps you inspired to keep traveling and taking pictures after all these years?
Well, I'm as interested and as inspired now as I was sort of 40 years ago. I still love to travel and meet people and get immersed, get involved in a place or situation and learn about it. Um, I'm traveling as much now as I was before when I was, starting out. I think it's just wanting to stay engaged with the world we live in, and to try and be again curious and interested in the world and people and learning new things. I think that's an ongoing endeavor. I think that's something that we'll do all of our lives. And I think if you're an artist, you have to continue to practice your art all the time. You never retire. You never want to give that up.
Would you still define yourself as a photojournalist?
Well, I think of myself more as a photographer, maybe a documentary photographer. I'm working now mainly for books and exhibitions. So I more photographing for myself, sort of self-assigning myself to go places that are more personal to me and that interest me than working for somebody else. So that's kind of what I'm doing.
You live in Sardinia. Have you ever been here, or are you planning to come here one day? Are you interested in coming
I
here?
love Sardinia. I was there a couple of years ago. I thought it was really fascinating. The landscape, the people travel from the north down to the south and then back up again. It was a fabulous experience. I hope to go back again some. Met a lot of people in the mountains and the coast. It was fascinating.
And since you've traveled a lot, what's the best place you have ever been in?
Well, you look at different places for different reasons. Uh, love Italy, so many reasons. The culture, the art, the landscape, and the people, the food, the wine, the sea, the mountains. But I also like that, or India for other reasons. So I think you like a place for certain things. India has a much more vast culture with different religions and more varied. So it's hard to pick one place. It's kind of a lot of places that fascinate me.
Thank you. And since we are young people, what advice would you give to young photographers who want to make a career out of telling stories with their photos?
Well, I think that's a great ambition and a great idea. I think that I would not get too. It's something you can always do. You don't necessarily have to make money from it. It's difficult to do it professionally, but it's something you can always do. Camera and take pictures. So I think that I think it's a great way to express yourself. So no, I think I would encourage everybody to go out and document your life, your friends, your family, events, your community, the land, the countryside. There's a lot of stories even near where we live. You don't have to travel.
Since you've taken a lot of photos, do you have like one favorite photo above all the one you took?
Yeah, I don't really have one photograph that is my favorite. Again, it's sort of like you like different pictures for different reasons. Some pictures you love because it was very difficult, the circumstances were very difficult to make that picture. Or you like another picture for another reason, maybe the composition or the particular moment. But I don't really have one that I would say is my favorite. I think of all of my pictures as sort of my children, and I love them all.
And like before taking a photo, do you have a specific phrase that you repeat yourself, like before shooting each photo?
No, I don't really have a routine or a word or a. I usually go out and try and get in a particular mood, relax, get in the moment, concentrate on what I'm doing, where I am, try and clear my mind, and proceed like that. So I think slowly you get into a particular meditative state, kind of a zone where you're more attentive, more sensitive, more aware.
And how do you choose which photo is the best between the many photos that you took, you take during shooting?
Well, it's difficult. Sometimes you just have to look at them and compare them, and then look at them and decide which one's the best. Sometimes there's more than one, so you just have to make a decision.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to visit a specific place? Are you planning to go somewhere?
I'm going to Japan next summer. Japan.
Yeah, thank you. So thank you for everything. It's been an honor, and thank you so much.
It's a pleasure for me. I was enjoyed talking to you. And I hope you have a good afternoon. I hope come back to Sardinia sometime and say hello. Oh yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. Have a good day. Nice to meet you. Have a good day. Nice to meet you.
Bye bye.